I'll drive.
Actually, I want to try something. Saw it in a comic book.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash Episode 5 video. There were so many Easter eggs, mostly introducing the Ragdoll character, but there was also a new crossover trailer in a reference to what they're doing with Caitlyn's father. There's a new round of the Flash Ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment about the episode on the video. So just careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet. Starting with number 10. There's a jewel heist. Nora tries to help out, but because she's been ducking Barry and Iris, she hasn't had the training that she needs, so she totally botches it, almost kills an elderly couple, and has that look on her face like she has after every time she derps like, geez, I'm sorry, Dad. Oh, this sucks. There was actually an Easter egg on one of the trucks as they were driving around. Usually street names wind up being Easter eggs for either people that are crew members or for comic book names. The name on the truck here, Shapira, is actually the name of one of the crew members. 9. Caitlyn learns that her father had a working relationship with Martin Stein in the past, which is actually really cool, tied to Legends of Tomorrow, even though we don't really know what Martin Stein is up to right now because he hasn't been on that show for a while. They also use Caitlyn's storyline to tell the story of how Cisco will basically have to stop being Vibe for most of the rest of the season while his hands heal, or until they can find a way to fix him. I think he'll get his powers back eventually. Like, the only person that you really don't want to be without their powers for an extended period of time is Barry, because the TV show is called The Flash. But I think this is actually the first time we've seen a close-up of Caitlyn's father. It's in a flashback, but they keep referring to all the equations. Obviously, that's all set up that they pay off by the end of the episode when we got that teaser for his introduction next week. So they've been doing this thing the past couple of episodes where you see her father has been working on a lot of equations and mystery science that we don't really know. I'm guessing it has something to do with him becoming the Icicle character and Caitlyn becoming Killer Frost. But number 8, we finally get to meet Ragdoll for the first time, crawling out of that box like the creepy clown that he is. So if you're not a big comic book reader, they did change the way his powers work and the way he got his powers. In the comics, Ragdoll is not a metahuman. He actually just has surgery to make himself triple jointed. I thought they did a good job with the special effects. Like, you can do most of this practical. The actor underneath the costume is actually a contortionist in real life, so he did a lot of this practically. But when he's crawling through vents or when he's smashing his hands, obviously that has to be CG. But when he does that creepy move, turning his head around like an owl, that's actually practical. That's the actor just turning his head around that far. He becomes a member of the Secret Six in the comics. I don't know what their plans are for the future of this character on the TV show, but anybody that they introduce that doesn't die is always fair game to come back. 7. Cecile agrees to tell Nora stories about Barry that didn't make it into the Flash Museum. The funny thing about this, when she says Barry went into the past and fought golden giants called Grodins, that's a real Flash comic book. It was Flash number 120. It was an adventure that he had with Kid Flash, so this is way back during the Silver Age. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. I don't know why they would keep that out of the Flash Museum. Maybe they just don't want to blow people's minds too much, like, wait a minute, there were golden giants living in the past? What the hell? They name drop Supergirl. There's a couple references to things that they're going to pay off during the crossover. Like when Barry is sitting here on the couch, you see the picture of him and Iris that they took a long time ago. But in the trailer video that I just posted, it's Oliver in the picture. So they're just setting up a lot of things for the crossover that they'll pay off. Like there was a line of dialogue where Barry said, try to be the person you are right now. Don't worry about who you're going to become. But the funny thing about that is that he's going to become Green Arrow in a couple weeks. 6, we get Ragdoll's true origin story. So on the TV show, it was his mother that never approved of him and cast him out. She's this billionaire industrialist that seems like she's super smart because she figures out immediately what Barry and Iris are there for. The writers do things like that just to let you know that characters are extremely intelligent. Like, I know what the hell is going on here. Just ask me your stupid questions and then get the hell out of my party. The story on the TV show is that she gave him everything growing up, but he didn't live up to her expectations, so she cut him off. So cold as hell, colder than Killer Frost. That is one mean mom right there. But it's just meant to be a metaphor for Iris's relationship with Nora. So it seems like most of that drama is going to be over by next week, like the way they ended the episode with Nora being all excited about Iris. But I do like the idea that Ragdoll got his powers when he was crushed during the Enlightenment by the Dark Matter satellite. Like, it literally flattened him like we see him flatten himself. The other minor comic book change that they made is that in the comics, he's Peter Merkel Jr. It's his father who was the earlier version of Ragdoll that he took the mantle from, who never approved of him. During the Silver Age, Peter Merkel Sr., his father, was the original version of Ragdoll. And the whole thing about his character is that the Thinker brainwashed him to commit crimes based on dolls. So they're kind of remixing aspects of the original origin story. 5. Cisco passes the freak out when they're investigating Caitlin's father's burnt-out lab. They also find out that he faked the arson, so he's been hiding out this whole time, just throwing people off the trail. But this is more about Cisco than it is about Caitlin, even though it is really cool to get this backstory on Icicle. Caitlin explains the reason for Cisco having seizures is that there's still metal from Cicada's dagger embedded in his hands, and he'll just seize up every time he tries to use his powers again. So eventually, once they find a way to get the metal out, then he'll be able to heal his hands fully and he'll be able to vibe again. It'll probably be sometime in the back half of the season. But it's a great scene. Like, they have this really emotional moment about how Cisco is worried he won't be able to contribute. It's the same thing for all the other members of Team Flash when they lose their powers, or the people that do not have powers to begin with. So they kind of paid that off with the Iris West storyline at the end of the episode when she jumps out of the building. We're on the way to that, don't worry. Number 4, Spider-Man Elongated Man. This is actually really funny. They always find ways to do comic booky stuff in a really silly way with his character. I saw this in a comic book once. I want to try something. He's actually grabbing the buildings with his hands, so technically instead of web slinging, it's more like arm slinging. But it's just one in a long line of Marvel references that they include in episodes. Pretty good moment. But number 3, like I said, pushing Barry off the building and Iris jumping after him. This is a lot like the moment that Iris had when she jumped out of the building while she was on a case, just waiting for Barry to catch her. Like Barry tells her, "You trust me, right?" And she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll jump out of this building," just assuming that he would be there in time. And at the time, it was a really badass stunt, and we haven't had that many Iris badass stunts since then. So this is just a really solid moment from the episode. These are the really good action scenes that you give her character, because it involves the team working together. Like, you need Barry's powers working in concert with Iris, literally taking a leap of faith, and they use it to wrap up that Nora drama storyline. So thankfully they're moving past that. I was getting kind of tired of them sniping at each other. Cisco gives Ragdoll his comic book name, and number 2, Team Caitlin, which I'm just going to call collectively because they're all built around Caitlin's storyline, finds out where her father is. Her mother apparently has all these military contracts, so there are black sites all over the place doing crazy dark research. Her father seems like he's been hiding out at one of these places ever since he faked his death. So Cisco hacks the 4 satellites that the Thinker left in orbit, gives them a bunch of Easter egg names. There's Hal, Robbie, Data, and Colossus. So Hal is Hal for HAL 9000 from 2001 Space Odyssey. Robbie is named for Robbie the robot from that classic Forbidden Planet movie. Data is Data from Star Trek, obviously. And the Colossus reference may be for a giant mech, or maybe Colossus from X-Men, but that doesn't really fit with his scheme of naming things after robots. You guys can let me know what you think he was referencing by naming that last one Colossus. But obviously, number 1 WTF is the teaser for the Icicle episode. They find him. He has crazy looking frost powers, way more powerful than Caitlin's, and it seems like they're setting him up to be sort of a backdoor villain. So anytime someone seems like they're trying to do something good, I wanted to quarantine myself. But then things slowly start to go off the rails and don't quite add up, like something is kind of fishy here. What's going on? And it seems like they want to drive a wedge between Caitlin and Team Flash, like he's my only family left. And obviously Team Flash is her family, so she has to choose between her biological family and the family of her friends. It makes for really good TV. And if you're a big fan of Young Justice, they use the Icicle character quite a lot, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, because he's a huge character, so I think that they're going to try and keep him around for a while. Hopefully he'll be here after the mid-season finale. If you didn't see it, they also dropped another trailer for the crossover during the episode, and it was just the Barry version of the Oliver trailer that I just did a video for. So you have Barry waking up in the middle of a fight with Diggle, not knowing that he's the Green Arrow, so the Flash has become the Green Arrow. So I'll do a video for that tomorrow when I do the trailer video for the next episode. No worries, I'll name a new giveaway winner when I post that video. Click here for that crossover trailer, and click here for my Ryan Reynolds Detective Pikachu trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.